Namaskar, viewers and listeners of the Great Game Reloaded. I am Tilak Divesha. Faced with India holding exercise Trishul 2025, its biggest tri-services military exercise since the May confrontation under Operation Sindoor, Pakistan is rattled. It has reacted by issuing two NOTAMs, a notice to airmen, closing large chunks of its airspace and maritime zones. And in a twist, straight out of a Cold War thriller, US President Donald Trump has just dropped a nuclear bombshell, diplomatically speaking. He claims Pakistan has been secretly testing nuclear weapons. Yes, you heard that right. Trump says Pakistan is among the countries, quote, actively testing, unquote, nukes alongside Russia, China and North Korea. So let's connect the dots from India's Trishul exercise to Pakistan's panic and to Trump's nuclear revelation. What is really happening? India's exercise Trishul 2025 began late last week. The name itself is symbolic. Trishul, the divine weapon of Lord Shiva. It's not just a military drill, it's a statement. Over 20,000 Indian troops, supported by main battle tanks, Rafale and Sukhoi 30 jets, attack helicopters, missile systems, submarines and warships, are taking part. The exercise spans Rajasthan, Gujarat and the Arabian Sea, covering the Western theatre opposite Pakistan. This is not just routine training, it's signalling. Signalling preparedness, signalling deterrence, and signalling that India's armed forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, are now operating as one. Translation: India can fight on land, sea and air simultaneously and win. But not everyone is celebrating. In Islamabad, Trishul has set off alarms. Within days of Trishul's announcement, Pakistan issued its first NOTAM. It closed sections of its central and southern airspace from October 28th to 29th. The reason? Military activity. In reality, it was panic. Then just 5 days later, Pakistan issued a second NOTAM, this time extending airspace closures until 30th November. That's a full month of restricted skies. This second NOTAM also hinted at something bigger: possible naval firing drills and missile testing in the Arabian Sea. But here's where it gets interesting. Pakistan's own naval firing zones overlap with India's Trishul exercise area in the northern Arabian Sea. In other words, both countries are conducting near simultaneous military activity in the same waters. Now, this isn't unprecedented. India and Pakistan often test and train around similar timelines, but this time the overlap is unusually close. Analysts call it, quote unquote, dangerous symmetry, because one radar glitch, one misread maneuver, or one missile misfire could turn drills into a confrontation. And that's precisely what Islamabad fears, not because India plans aggression, but because Pakistan's own insecurity magnifies every Indian movement into an existential threat. Let's talk about where this tension is unfolding. Sir Creek. It's a narrow strip of marshland that divides India's Gujarat from Pakistan's Sindh province. But it is not just mud and mangroves. Beneath that creek lies control over potential exclusive economic zone, which means oil, gas and fishing rights. Both sides claim it. Neither side backs down. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh put it bluntly last month. He said, and I quote, "If Pakistan dares to act in Sir Creek, the reply will be so strong that it will change both history and geography." Unquote. That was a warning, not rhetoric. Because satellite images show Pakistan has recently expanded troop deployment and military infrastructure near the creek, radar station and possibly new missile storage. Trishul, therefore, isn't happening in a vacuum. It is happening right in Pakistan's most nervous zone. Every time India conducts a large-scale exercise, Pakistan follows the same playbook. 1. Close airspace. 2. Announce a counter drill. 3. Issue statements about readiness. 4. Complain to global media about aggression. This pattern goes back decades. In 1986, during India's Operation Brass Tacks, Pakistan tried invasion. In 2001, after Operation Parakram, Pakistan accused India of war hysteria. In 2019, after Balakot, it claimed victory while nursing losses. And in 2025, it's the same story. Pakistan's foreign ministry now calls Trishul a provocation. Its army says, quote, it is watching developments closely, unquote. But behind the official language lies fear. Fear of exposure, fear of weakness, and fear of losing the narrative. Because this time, the pressure isn't only coming from India. It's coming from Washington too. On 3rd November, Donald Trump appeared on CBS's 60 Minutes. And in his typical unfiltered fashion, he said this in the context of US resuming testing, and I quote, Russia's testing, China's testing, and certainly North Korea's been testing, Pakistan been testing, unquote. He said it casually, but the world sat up. Because officially, Pakistan hasn't conducted a nuclear test since 1998. Its last known explosions were in Chagai just weeks after India's Pokhran 2 tests. Since then, Pakistan has claimed restraint and compliance with non-testing norms. But Trump's claim shatters that facade. He says Pakistan is, and I quote, actively testing nuclear weapons, unquote. Not simulations, not subcritical experiments, but tests. And he used that claim to justify America's own decision to resume nuclear testing after 3 decades. So, if Trump is right, Pakistan has been quietly violating global norms while pretending to be a responsible nuclear power. Now let's put this in context. Pakistan's nuclear arsenal is estimated at about 170 warheads and growing. It is also believed to be developing tactical nuclear weapons, smaller bombs designed for battlefield use against India. These weapons are deployed under a doctrine called full spectrum deterrence. In simple terms, it means Pakistan threatens to use nukes even in limited conflicts. If Trump's claim is accurate, Islamabad may be refining these tactical systems, testing designs, validating yields, and calibrating delivery mechanisms. That's not defensive behavior. That's escalation. And it couldn't have come at a worse time, when its economy is crumbling and its credibility is collapsing. Interestingly, till the time of recording, Pakistan hasn't come out with an official statement, either denying Trump's statement or affirming it, giving some excuses for testing. CBS quoted an unnamed official blandly stating, and I quote, Pakistan was not the first to carry out nuclear tests and will not be the first to resume nuclear tests, unquote. Let's rewind 27 years. In May 1998, India carried out Operation Shakti, 5 nuclear tests in Pokhran, Rajasthan. It declared itself a nuclear weapon state openly and confidently. Pakistan followed within weeks, detonating 6 bombs in the Chagai Hills. It called it, and I quote, you test, we respond, unquote. But there was a difference. India tested to prove capability and close the chapter. Pakistan tested to chase parity and open an arms race. Fast forward to today, and Trump's words suggest that the race never stopped. Pakistan, despite sanctions and denials, may have continued secret testing, possibly underground or through subcritical designs masked as conventional blasts. In effect, Trump exposed Pakistan's nuclear duplicity. Now, why did Trump say this? He wasn't asked specifically about Pakistan. He was defending his own decision to restart US nuclear testing, saying, quote, "Others are doing it, so why shouldn't we?" unquote. In typical Trump fashion, he blurted out names: Russia, China, North Korea, and Pakistan. But remember, Trump as president receives intelligence briefings. His statements often contain fragments of classified knowledge dressed in showmanship. Trump's statement that Pakistan is nuclear testing confirms what India and the world have long suspected: that Islamabad's strategic policy is built on deception. So while Islamabad might dismiss it as Trump being Trump, Washington insiders know better. If even part of his claim is true, it means Pakistan has breached its own commitments of unilateral moratorium on nuclear testing, despite not being a signatory to the Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty, the CTBT. That could have major implications for US aid, bailouts from international financial institutions, for EU, for arms control, and for regional stability, and for India's own nuclear program. How has India responded? So far, with silence. No statements, no theatrics. Continuing with the exercise, simply demonstrating capability. Exercise Trishul itself is the message. But the moot question is, should India test? Should it upgrade its own nuclear arsenal based on what Pakistan has been doing? Pakistan's silence should give India every reason to rethink its current pacifist nuclear posture. These are issues that I will talk about in the coming weeks. Meanwhile, India's tri-service integration, its Atmanirbhar equipment, its rapid mobilization drills all signal confidence. And that's the difference between confidence and paranoia. India knows that real deterrence doesn't need chest thumping. It needs clarity, control, and credibility. Three things Pakistan lacks. So let's sum it up. Exercise Trishul is not about provocation. It's about preparation. Pakistan's no times are not about deterrence. They are about fear. And Trump's revelation is confirmation of Pakistan's duplicity. Pakistan's foreign and military policy has always thrived on opacity. Deny, deflect, dramatize. But in 2025, the fog is lifting. I am Tilak Divesha. Thank you for watching. Do like, share and comment. In the next few episodes, I will be talking about Pakistan's foreign policy, the Pakistan-Bangladesh tango, political developments in Pakistan as the time comes for Army Chief Asim Munir's retirement, and the potential 27th Amendment to the Constitution and its implications. Do keep watching. Namaskar and Jai Hind.